Victoria Police is using sophisticated new technology in a bid to track down people downloading and distributing child pornography images. This week they arrested and charged 3 people with child pornography offences following a series of raids. The Sexual Crime Squad is now also involved in education programs, warning young teenagers about putting raunchy images of themselves on chat pages. I spoke to the head of the Sexual Crime Squad, Detective Inspector Glenn Davies. Detective Inspector Glenn Davies, thank you for coming on to State Line. Tell me about the investigation that led to this week's arrests and raids.
This week we arrested 3 individuals and making further inquiries about other persons who were involved in downloading child pornography. The investigation was using some internet-based tools that we have that allows us to identify individuals who have downloaded certain files and child pornography files. These files, or this child pornography, is images of children being sexually abused and raped.
And without giving away secrets, how do you find people who are downloading this material?
Yeah, the World Wide Web is a free space, and whilst that is quite problematic in some areas, it allows us to move in the same area. So we're free to move around in that space and discover which files are being shared, which files are being downloaded, and we have the technology now to actually identify which computers they're being downloaded to. This particular tool that we have actually plots these addresses on a map, and we can also check for prevalence in different areas. So it's very advantageous for us.
But first, do you have to identify a suspect, or is it freewheeling? Can you just do you know when people are downloading this material because you've already identified the material?
Yeah. The tool is looking for particular files, particular computer fingerprints or digital fingerprints that are unique to particular files. In this case, we're alerting the tool to internet child pornography files, and when it locates that these are being downloaded, we're able to identify which computers they're being downloaded to.
In general discussion about this office discussion, people were worried that, well, what if someone sends me an email and it contains an image that could be child porn? Are you targeting those sorts of people? And if someone opens that email, have they committed a crime?
Yeah. Look, I would liken it to the drug scene where the offence is absolute in downloading images or images of child exploitation and child rape, child pornography, as it's defined, is an offence. At Victoria Police, we're not looking to target individuals who may have inadvertently opened an email or stumbled across a site. The people who we're generally dealing with, and I'm being general now, are people who've downloaded many thousands of images, and for us it is often a leader into an investigation further. Someone who has a propensity towards this type of material may also have a propensity towards contact offending against children, and that's a concern to us, and that's something that we look into and look very carefully at all the images to make sure that there's no contact offending, there's no images that have been produced by the person who's downloaded the material as well.
So for those people that you find that are downloading thousands of images, does that necessarily mean that they're making those images?
No, look, it's not automatic, but it's been our experience that people who have been charged with contact offending against children generally have a lot of those images as well. It comes with the territory, so to speak. So it may be an indicator that someone's involved in contact offending as well, and it warrants us to look very, very closely at that individual's activities, both online and perhaps in his personal life as well.
Is that happening in Victoria and Australia?
Look, it's been my experience that there has been people who've been found to be making their own child pornography, taking photographs or video of young children who they have been their targets. But commercial manufacture, we haven't encountered any in Victoria, no.
Detective Inspector, there is a new age, a new high-tech age that a lot of parents can't keep up with. but children and young teenagers have a propensity to put their images up, particularly on Facebook. Is there something to be worried about here?
Look, I think so, and I think the message to young people is to say, if you're going to put anything on the internet, on the World Wide Web, be prepared that could be misused by someone. Be prepared that someone could take that image, could put it on a site, could send your image to other people. It could be used in all sorts of ways that you really don't want it to be used. For instance, a couple of years ago now, we were alerted by authorities in the United States of a young person who was wearing a school uniform. She was only 9 years of age, and we were able to track her down through the emblem that was enhanced from her school uniform and find her, obviously tell her and her very disturbed parents about what had occurred, that her image was floating around on a paedophiles website overseas. That's really disturbing stuff. We're concerned about it, and young people and parents should be concerned also. What
about the sexualisation of younger and younger girls? What's your view about that?
Yeah, look, that is a concern. Sexualisation of young girls, the proliferation of the raunch culture, are all things that we're quite concerned about. The normalisation of this behaviour is really playing into the hands of people who have propensity for pedophilic behaviour. And I think it's incumbent on teachers, the police, parents, anyone in positions of influence and authority to say, look, this really isn't a good thing to do. It might seem cool to you, but there are consequences for it in this age. And far be it for me or anyone to look at blaming people or anything like that, or looking at victims. We're about locating perpetrators, but people should know that there are risks, and young women, young men should know that there is a risk in putting your images online.
Do you feel confident that your unit is keeping up the pace in this IT world of these criminals?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of checks and balances in place. The Australian Federal Police are leading the way. There are a very committed cohort of people through the whole of Australia that are meeting regularly to discuss the evolving nature of this crime. We are very flexible and we're highly trained. We have a core group of people in Victoria Police that work exclusively on this. We have the ability to deploy many people into the field, as those the execution of those warrants this week illustrates, and working with the regional officers as well. So we're about upgrading the knowledge in our people so that they're aware of these crimes being committed and how to address it in the best possible way.
How many members in your team?
Look, we have 50 members working at the Sexual Crime Squad.
And what effect does it have on them having to see these images over and over again?
Look, there's no doubt we are aware that there are risks in exposing our members to this sort of material. We take a lot of care in getting them debriefing, regular welfare checks, and it's a top priority for us. The images are awful things, and it's a job that they're very dedicated to. But we have to ensure that their welfare is top priority.
Detective Inspector Glenn Davies, thank you for your time.
Thank you.